Welcome back to the Road to 1 Million podcast. Today I'm with Rollie Abshire, owner of LeJeune Ceramic Coating and Paint Protection out of Marietta, Georgia. Rollie is also the trainer for Opticle PPF, which, for you guys who don't know, is Car Supplies Warehouse's paint protection film brand. So on this week's episode, Rollie shares with us some of his secrets to success within his own ceramic coating and PPF business down there in Marietta. And towards the later end of the episode, we talk about his experience with learning paint protection film and just some funny stories and interesting insight into the craft and trade of PPF. Don't forget, you guys can use the timestamps in the description to skip ahead. And without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, today I'm with Rollie from LeJeune Ceramic Coating and Paint Protection. Rollie, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Hey, no problem, man. It's a pleasure.
I said your name, your company's name, right?
Correct. LeJeune Ceramic Coating and Paint Protection.
Okay.
I mean,
Where did you
everyone
get
has their
the
own
name?
little inflection of LeJeune, but same, same, man. Where'd I get the name? That's actually a pretty common question. Is people, I don't advertise very broadly that I am. Oh, hold on, Herman is about to knock over the truck. Herman's my
Everyone
turtle.
listening. Yeah, everyone
Hold
listening.
on, let me
Rollie's
show
got
you.
a pet turtle.
Oh, this is Herman. He is the company mascot. If you've seen any of our stuff, you'll recognize his sticker. And he crawls around and he almost knocked down the tripod.
Is he
But
pretty
we're
fast?
way faster than people give him credit for, especially in here in the clean room because we have the like textured floor, the tiles, the modular tiles, and he can get some grip. The dude
Mm-hmm.
moves. He moves. But where'd I get the name from? A lot of people assume it's tied to Camp Lejeune because I don't advertise very much that it's a veteran-owned company, but on the front door there is a sort of nod to my military experience, just because I actually have the times that were open in military 24-hour timing. But that is not where the name comes from. Everyone knows me as Rollie Abshire, but my last name by blood should be Lejeune. The short way I've been able to figure out how to tell this story is my grandmother had an affair with Rodney LeJeune. That affair created my father, but my grandmother stayed with her husband, Jed Abshire. So when my father was born, he's an Abshire, I'm an Abshire. Never changed my name back to LeJeune or anything like that, but whenever I decide to open a company, I've always had a draw to the name. And I just didn't want the name of my company to be something like Apex Detailing or Luxury Detailing or something that's sort of I found to be very typical. And I didn't really want it to be my name because that can be limiting. But there's really no, unless you hear a story like this or anything, you don't really know why it's called Lejeune. But I've had a lot of people like the name, so it worked.
Yeah, I think it's always cool when like names they are created from cool stories like that.
So, but yeah.
Well, I was listening to your little video on that you've got on your website. By the way, your website, I know that I guess all the credit probably goes to Chris and his team over there.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely give the insane foundation for it. But I was actually really shocked at how much, as I've done it with them. I think I've had my website with them for 2 or 3 years by now. That it's really a creation of the two. Like what they really do is they give you the base bones of it, and then I have complete creative design of it. They just have sort of the structure of it and the collaboration between the two. Because I really enjoy that sort of creative side,
Mm-hmm.
and they just take it and make it look insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't sure like how much of the business owner of the individual detailing business owner has input on that versus how much they just kind of roll with it.
Um, Complete say in it. Now, if you do something that is probably going to detrimentally hurt the brand and the algorithm or anything, they'll let you know. Like, hey, that aesthetically probably isn't what you should do. But if you really want us to do it, we'll do it that way. They'll let you screw up your website, but they'll nudge you like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think that's good. But your website's Very well done, very informative. And I watched the video on there on your homepage where
The one with
Jason's
Jason.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's kind of given you a little bit of a shout out there. And so, but I heard in the video that you started mobile detailing out of a
Hmm.
Transit Connect. So did you always know you wanted to get a shop?
No. Um, I'm not, like I said, Matt, I'm sort of not one of those detailers that sort of grew up with it. I sort of fell into this. And what I thought I was first going to do was have Transit Connects. I was going to build them out and then franchise mobile detailing. I got into it for about 6 months. I was like, nope, not the thing for me for two reasons. My money can't depend on the weather, and the weather here in Georgia is as bipolar as it gets, and traffic as well. I didn't want a bunch of vehicles out there with traffic. And then I just absolutely despise detailing disgusting vehicles. And that's pretty much all you get with that version of detailing, at least at that level. So got into it, decided, nope, I don't want to do this too much longer. There has to be a better way to do this business model. And I'd already been following Jason for since he started his YouTube. So I already knew about Chicago Auto Pros and sort of that sector of it. Right around the time that I decided I don't want to do this anymore, um, he opened up Detailers, Detail Wise, the Detail Wise Academy. And the very first class was a 6 day long, very intensive class in January of 2021. So I was like, you know what? I have the money, signed up, went, and that's where I met him, Cougar from Lux Automotive, all the guys from Rupes, David Patterson, all the guys from Gloss University, a lot of the who's who of the industry. Got to know how to do all of this stuff at a very high level and said, yep, that's the direction I want to go. Um, Met a guy named Matt Moore. He's the owner of Easy Auto Spa. And, you know, I'm probably going to get on some rabbit trails here. That's just sort of the way my brain works. But it all is important to the process of how I got here. Um, Matt was trying to get me to work for him because he had just opened up, or he was in the process of building out his second location in Duluth, Georgia. And I went in, was working with him while still building mine because that was my first introduction into actually starting ceramics. And ceramics aren't very easily done out mobily. And so I would do his ceramic coatings, his polishes and ceramic coatings during the week. And then on the weekend, he would let me do my clients' ceramic coatings in his shop on the weekend. And he even let me do it during the week, like if I needed to, and there was space, which there always was. He always made space for me. And the reason that's important is he and I were at the time both G Technic accredited shops, both chasing the identical same client. Uh, Preston, his office manager, and I would both get requests for service from the same client. And
Hmm.
one would sometimes it'd go with Easy, sometimes it'd go with me, but I was always doing the work.
Hmm.
And I find that to be important because I always hear people complaining about, oh, I had a shop just open up a mile down from me, and I built this brand for the first year inside my competitor's shop. There's no excuse. But once I figured out about this polishing and ceramics, really fell in love with it. It's just grown from there. About a year and a half into working in Matt's shop, I found this space, and I've been here for a little over 3 years now.
Hmm. On that topic, real quick, did you think that there was any like rhyme or reason why certain clients were picking you versus going with Matt Shop?
Um, at that time, I couldn't really figure out what and or why it was, but looking back now and getting the feedback from people, a lot of it was my social media presence. I've always done a very sort of informative style presence with my people. I've never done really the clickbaity stuff. It's always been, I know that the type of videos and things I produce are going to not reach as many people, but I'm not worried about reaching tens of thousands. I'm worried about reaching the right person. If I only find 100 people, or 100 people find that video, but 50 of them want my service, I'm good with that versus reaching 10,000 people, but only 2 people want my service. So over time, I can find that that's probably what it was because we had very comparable pricing. We kept our pricing right by each other on purpose. So
Hmm.
who knows at the end of the day sometimes because it wasn't distance because they were coming to the same place.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually going to ask you, one of my questions was, do you think, and to what degree, social media has contributed to the success of your business? And YouTube is included in there.
100%. The two biggest things I can say that have contributed to the rather rapid growth was utilizing social media, a consistent presence on social media, and the overall just experience that the client receives. And the experience is sort of all inclusive of how much information do they get ahead of time, setting the expectation, those little videos that I would send. No one at the time, at least that I'm aware of, was doing those types of videos. Now, a lot of people that know me and know me for it, they do it now as well. And that's massive because there's always been this sort of allure over anything automotive when you bring your car somewhere. It's always, okay, we're going to bring it back to the shop. You can't see what's going on back there, though. And you just don't see your car again until X amount of days. And then it's, oh, here you go. Or somewhere along the line, it's, hey, we ran into this problem, so it's going to cost us much more. I wanted to eliminate that. And that's why the birth of those videos happened because I wanted to show my clients in real time what was going on. So that once people started getting that and they started telling people, like, dude, he sends me these. Granted, there's two reasons why I do those videos. One, just for the experience. And the second one's very selfish. If you're my client, I send you a video every single day showing you the process of this. One, you're getting that real time, like experience of watching it happen in real time, the transformation of the vehicle. And two, what if you're at a family meeting or you're at a dinner or you're at something, you're gonna be like, look what this guy just showed me. And now he's marketing for me by showing my videos to everyone else. So that helped massively. Social media, big time.
Where did you get that idea to do like that check-in video?
It actually that happened at that 6-day course that I went to in 2021 up at Chicago Auto Pros, and it
Mhm.
wasn't even anything that they taught. It was during the last 2 days of that course. The last 2 days was Business Mastermind, where Jason and the guys from Rupes and all the people that were there were talking about their experience. And I do not remember who said it, but one of the instructors just sort of said in the background when everyone was just sort of spitballing things that would be good to try to um, improve your visibility out there. Someone said, maybe it would be good to just send a daily update video. And it was one of those things that they just said, but I don't think anyone really picked up on. But for some reason, my brain heard it. I wrote it down in my little book and I was like, I'm going to do that. And here we are.
Hmm.
It works. People want to know what's going on.
How helpful has that been? Do you get a lot of really positive feedback from people about that?
100% positive feedback. There's never been a single negative to it aside from if I have 7 cars in here at once, I have to create 7 videos every day. And that can be time consuming. That's the only negative I can find.
Yeah. What is your, because I know you have a few employees working for you, right?
Mhm. I currently have 2 full-time in the shop and 2 full-time outside the shop working on some Penske stuff that I do with another person. But that will be coming to an end soon. I'll be letting the Penske thing go, and I'm going to be bringing those 2 employees back in-house, and I'm going to be reopening the mobile maintenance portion of the service. contrary to what I said at the beginning of this, how I don't want to do that, the caveat is I'm only going to be offering it to my existing clients
Hmm.
because we will essentially just be detailing clean cars all the time. And
Hmm.
it's selfishly will make our services last longer and look better. So our clients are even happier.
Okay.
It's not something we're going to offer to the general public.
Sure. Well, we can talk about that a little bit more in a minute. I wanted to know, what does your day to day in your business look like? Because I'm sure that with these check-in videos, that's probably taking a little bit of your time anyway. So,
Oh yeah, it can consume anywhere between the last 30 minutes to 2 hours of my day. So I'll usually wait until the day's work is done. And if there's little things that happen, we find out throughout the day. I will do little mini check-ins with clients if the service requires it, which those I don't post. Um, so like for instance, this Audi that's right here, we've had some issues with this. We removed a wrap from it, and the people that wrapped it used all kinds of adhesive promoter, all kinds of stuff. Just a nightmare of a removal. So when we have things like that in the middle of the day, I'll just do a quick little 30-second walk around, update them, and then include that in the final update for the day. But yeah, I mean, mostly just depending on how many cars, 30 minutes to 2 hours of the day will be consumed with that.
mhm. So are you doing still like a lot of the installs and the coatings? Are you doing sales calls?
I still do wear many hats. Um, I'm sort of on that cusp right now of not quite enough revenue to bring someone in fully to help with PPF. So me and Ishi, my lead PPF guy, are still doing the film installations together. But Carly, she was my first employee. She's been with me 2.5 years. Since she's been proficient in knowing how to paint correct, wet sand, and ceramic, I haven't had to think about ceramicing for the past 2.5 years. So that service is completely out of my off my hands now, so I can focus on client interaction. Whenever we get leads coming in, I handle all of that right now, and then coming in and helping Ish with film install when needed. I'd say about 50% of my day when needed is in here doing film. The rest is doing business stuff as far as client interaction, client procurement.
Mhm. It's always that tricky spot, man, as a small business between like, are we making enough money to
Yeah.
hire this?
Yep. I'm just on the cusp, and I'm actually about to be introducing some more um, advertising efforts. I just got on board with Ad Motive, and we'll be adding them into the fold with everything that I do already with social media and with Detailer's Roadmap to sort of get us over that 60,000 a month, $65,000 a month sort of wall and get into the 85 to $100,000 a month sort of goal.
Yeah, Chris talks about those plateaus. I talked a little bit about it on the podcast I did with him. Do you think that, have you advertised up to this point at all?
Oh yeah, I've tried all kinds of different stuff. Um, when I first came in, I was doing Google ads, trying different ads on social medias as far as Facebook, Instagram, things like that. And for me, I mean, it depends on who you ask. Facebook's the best thing, Instagram's the best thing, Google's the best thing. For the very sort of, I purposefully am a slow pace shop. I'm not interested in high volume turn and burn. I'm more interested in very low volume, nauseatingly high quality. So I found whenever I was trying to do ads on Facebook and Instagram, it didn't matter how much I refined the ad. It didn't matter how much I did to qualify the ad beforehand to sort of weed out the cheap people. All those methods, at least in my area, it only brought me the tire kickers and people that were wanting a full body PPF on a freaking Escalade for $300.
Hmm.
So stopped doing that. Google ads worked well for a while. Um, but it's just so time consuming to stay on top of the ever changing algorithm that is that thing while I'm still having to install and do all of these things Then after about a year and a half of working with Chris and them doing my website, my SEO and all of that, the reports they send me, I noticed my traffic coming in went from 70 to 80% paid from Google to when I stopped doing it about a year ago, to only about 9% of the traffic I was getting to my website was from a paid ad from Google. So
Mm-hmm.
at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to back off on doing Google ads, see if it detrimentally hurts me, and I can reallocate those funds to something else. So that's what I did for the past year. I haven't seen it hurt me at all financially or flow wise of leads coming in. Uh, Mostly because the marriage of what I do on social media as far as videos and what Chris does, his company does, it, the spiders that are Google love it. And it helps push us out as a major authority in what we do around here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't overstate enough how important YouTube is.
Yeah. Yeah. I see you're pretty active on YouTube.
Not as much as I want to, because like I said, I want to be producing at minimum one long format video a week, get to the point where I'm doing two, and then obviously cutting those up for short format stuff. But like I said, it becomes, those things are time consuming to produce them properly, and to have the bandwidth within my brain to have to turn on sort of the creative part to figure out what to do, um, while still installing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm trying to get this work with this other ad agency to get more paid ads going, because everyone that I've talked to, I have several buddies that are in this space as well, that they were at that same 60,000 sort of wall. They were doing a lot of the same stuff I already do. Big presence on social media, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, working with Detailer's Roadmap, and they were sort of at that same plateau. I've been sort of following them and watching them for the past year. Every single one of them, including conversations that I've had and seen Chris have with other people at the same plateau you were talking about, he talks about. You sort of need to have both of those things: a good quality SEO strategy and a good quality paid ad thing, plus the social media presence that I'm doing myself. That's what sort of brings you to that next plateau of the 80 to 100 plus thousand a month area.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them that were at that same area, 60,000, they added this company in. Within 3 to 4 months, they said every single one of them said they broke through that plateau and were into the 80 plus thousand a year months.
So have you talked with them at all about not repeating the same experience you had before where you're getting all these tire kickers
Yeah,
and just
that's what
wasting
we're in the
time?
process of doing right now. Um, Good thing is that this the company I'm working with, they're very tied in to the same network of people that we are tied into. So they already are aware of me from my social media presence and what I expect as far as procuring clients. So they already know I'm not looking for the regular run of the mill. I'm sort of looking for that 1% car enthusiast that's not scared to spend $7,000 to $15,000 to do what we do here. So they understand what we're looking for. Now, granted, when you start doing more ads like that, it's going to happen. You're not going to weed everybody out, but it's just part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was Mike Norm who was saying like by like the ads you create, you can almost weed them out.
Yeah.
Like you can almost, people can tell, I think, from an ad whether or not they belong with this company.
Yep. Whether they can afford you or not,
Yeah. If you do the ad the right way, right? I
if you
mean,
do it
there's some
right.
ads
And
that,
that's where
you
it's
would just track
important to,
everyone.
have the right ad company, because I could send all of the footage and stuff that I'll send them. I could send it to 5 different ad companies. If they're not the right ad company that understands what I want and are linked in with the right type of people, they're going to get me the wrong people. That's why it's taken me so long to work with an ad company, because there's no shortage of them. I get at least 15 freaking text message and emails a day saying, "Hey, we can get you 35 guaranteed, blah 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 a day." No, you can't. No, you can't. So it's important to find the right one, vet
Yeah.
them.
Now, when it comes to your YouTube, I know you said
Mhm.
that you're trying to spend more time on there. Like, what do you think a high quality video that attracts the ideal client or nurtures the ideal client, what does that look like?
Showing the process. Just, I mean, hell, I had a guy just today, probably an hour ago, call me, pick the phone up, did my normal thing. He's like, "You sound like you have a YouTube channel." I'm like I do. He's like, "I thought I was talking to you. Your voice sounded familiar." There was a video I put up probably 5 months ago. Thumbnail is me pointing at some words that say "Why Expel Sucks." He found that. He watched it. He liked it. He's an Expel client currently. Well, he's not anymore after seeing that video. It was me just talking about my experience and why that experience with a certain brand of vehicle that comes in for me to fix, why I don't like it, and how I would fix it. That got him down the rabbit hole that are my videos. He went in and watched more videos. There's a video I have, which is my most viral one so far, about how I shave the edges of the glass whenever I window tint. There's another one I have on a blue Corvette about how I do sort of, and this isn't a special thing for me, but cutting the PPF at a very specific spot to make it have that optical illusion of disappearing on the curvature of the panel. All of those videos, like I said, they're not clickbaity, pretty boring to people that don't want that level of neuroses. But for people that want that level of neuroses, they find it intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
And finding those videos, they watch it and they say, "Yep, that's the service I want." They already know that if I'm going through all of that, uh, it's going to be a certain price point. So it pre-qualifies them.
Yeah. I was talking with one of my employees this week about YouTube and like videos like that. And then we offer coatings, but we don't offer paint protection film right now. And we were like, he was like, are people really watching those videos? Like, are clients really taking the time to listen
Mm-hmm.
to like all like a detailer kind of explain all like the nitty gritty? And I'm like, well, when it comes to spending 3 grand, 7 grand on your vehicle,
Yeah.
I was like, I think that they probably are.
The ones that are looking to spend that higher dollar amount, they are. Yeah, you're not going to get as much engagement on them on those videos. But like I said, you'll get a couple hundred, but then you're going to see conversions because of it. I get conversions on a daily basis on videos I created a year ago. That's just stuff that's out there. I forgot I even did the video, but it's still bringing me clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that showing up on Google? Like, is the video itself showing up as a link on Google when people search for like paint protection film near Marietta, Georgia?
Some of them do. Yeah. Whenever, and the big part of that is also it's not as simple as just posting it. This is sort of that added value of working with the right company, like Detailer's Roadmap. They're not considered cheap. They're not a necessarily cheap company to work with, depending on how you define that. I think they're a freaking phenomenal value considering what they bring back to me. If you go look at the videos that I post, there's a very specific format that I do for the title. All of that is specifically engineered for SEO. So I'll put the title of whatever the video is, then a slash with the company name, then slash Marietta, Georgia. Then I take that link, put it on Facebook, take that link, put it on Instagram. I do all of that, and it doesn't seem like the right format for different things, but it's whenever someone types something in, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on all these different formats that Google is linked into. So if someone types in full body wrap on a Audi A7, Marietta, Georgia, LeJeune Ceramic and PPF, Marietta, Georgia, when they type in wrap for Audi A7, Google thinks that because I have so many things on the web stating that and that we do that, it makes me an authority, so it pops up higher
Mm-hmm.
versus someone that doesn't. And then it links them to the video of me showing it and the snowball effect of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have anything else other than your check-in videos um, that you send to your clients to kind of create that unique experience at your shop?
Yes, from the very first email they get from me, I utilize YouTube videos a lot. There's links that are private links or unlisted links that all clients get on almost every interaction with me. Um, so whenever I, I utilize automation as little as possible because I still like that human experience. So whenever I get a lead from my website, I get notified. I still personally, I obviously I in my email I created a template, but I do the template, I type in their name, I customize the subject line so I know which car I'm talking about. But it introduces me in that email as the client experience manager because that's the hat I'm wearing at that moment. It tells them who I am, a little bit about, the experience they can expect, talking about the vehicle that they're looking, if there's anything in their response to me from the website, I address it at that point. But then at the very bottom, it says, uh, meet Rollie and LeJeune with a link to a video. So they click that. I made a sort of the same style I'm known for. I do the vlog style. I start at the outside of my shop, introduce who I am, walk into the shop, walk through the shop, and they can see the cars that are being worked on at the time. So they're already, by the time they get here, they've already seen the shop at least once, if that's the first video they've ever seen of me. But most people have already seen videos on YouTube. So it's just building that subconscious familiarity of me, my shop, what it looks like. So when they walk in for the first time, it's like a memory. They're like, oh, I've been here before. It's that instant level of comfort because, well, they've already seen my lobby. They've already seen the door. They already have seen all this stuff. And then, so that'll be the first video. Then, whenever I do my proposal, I use a CRM system called Orbis X. There's a feature in there that after I've done their proposal, I have my webcam on my computer, I can click and create a custom video for them. You'll actually find in some of my reviews where people talk about it. They're like, and I can customize it to you. I can say, hey, Joshua, this is Rollie. This is normally what I say. Hey Joshua, this is Rollie with LeJeune Ceramic and PPF. Just want to introduce myself. If you haven't seen any of our other videos, let you know that I will be your main point of contact during this entire experience here at LeJeune. If you have any questions about the proposal that's down below, I'll talk about the proposal, what they requested, any nuances that they need to know about, how to function within it, the interactive buttons that are there, all of that. Give them my phone number, tell them they can respond to me at that email. So they have another contact point with me. By the time they come here, they've already seen my face probably 10 times and they're very familiar with me. And that video, as soon as they open up the proposal, whether it's on their phone or on a laptop or on a computer, it's the first thing that pops up as they start to scroll down. It's right there. There's a picture of me with the background that I have. And they're like, oh, what is this? And I can't tell you how many times people have been like, holy shit, this isn't just some copy paste. He said my name talking to me about my car and my service. This isn't just some run of the mill things. He customized this for each client. It blows people away. Um, then follow up videos. That's one place where I do leverage the automation that the CRM system has. Obviously, I don't have time to sit there and do everything. So I've created some automated videos that are follow ups requesting for um, Google and Facebook reviews. Talking to the next one will be about recommended products, pitching our mobile services. Then there's a video they get like 3 or 4 days later if they've got ceramics telling them, hey, it's safe to wash your car now. Your ceramics should be fully cured. If it's 3 weeks from then, when I do my 3 week follow up for PPF, and each benchmark, each time my brand reaches out to someone, I don't leave it to their comprehension skills to read the email. Obviously, there's an email, but it's always married with a video reinforcing seeing the shop, seeing the names, seeing me, seeing the employees, seeing things happen in the shop. So it's just constantly, every time they think of this type of service, they're going to think of this place.
How often are you closing deals on email versus like phone calls?
I've never closed a service once just on email because I won't contact a client only via email. I will always at some point, or let's put it this way, every single deal I've ever closed has been because of a phone call. Because if you don't respond to me, I'm within a day or so, I'm going to call you. And then, but I don't think I've had a single conversion that was email only.
So do you call or do you email? That's like the very first point of contact, and then if they don't respond, then you call.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll give them a day, maybe two. That's another way that I'm told I do it wrong is I run my interactions with my clients the way I like to shop. And if you bug me too much, I'm done with you. I don't want to be bugged. By the time I've contacted a company, I've done my homework, I've done my research. I might be looking at a couple different companies, but I've contacted you on purpose. I don't ever assume someone contacted me on accident. It takes some effort to type in the name and fill out that little sheet on our contact us now. Um, so I don't overdo it, and I can't tell you how many clients I have won because of that fact.
Mm-hmm.
They've told me like, thank you for not bugging the shit out of me. You just sort of let me know you were here. And again, I'm sort of playing a game with them. I'm sort of playing reverse psychology of I'm so busy, I don't need you to come work with. Like, I don't need your service, but I would love to have it. You know, now sometimes that's true. Sometimes I am super busy, and everyone knows in this industry it's sort of an ebb and flow. But that's a real thing for me. I don't want to be bugged, and sort of a game because, well, it works.
Yeah. So when you send them that email,
Hmm.
and then you customize it. It's a template, but you have a lot of
I have a
customization
few
in it.
customized things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they respond to that, so then is your next email, is that asking for a phone call?
The next communication after that is typically a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And then you send them a proposal
If
via
it's
email
not
again.
just now there's been times whenever I haven't called them just because it was such a straightforward service they were requesting that it's like, okay, it's a brand new Porsche. I want to get it ceramic. Okay, cool. I'll send them my email, my introductory email. I'll send them the proposal, and sometimes they'll book, sometimes they won't. And if they fall into they haven't, I wait a day or so, and then I call them. Like, hey, this is Rollie, just following up with blah 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 blah. A lot of times they'll be like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to talk to you. I just haven't had time to call. Cool. What's your questions? Done. Easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What does that phone call at that point look like?
I am not a salesman. I am I honestly, this probably sounds cliche from a lot of different people I've heard say the same thing, but I've never actually, I talk more people out of services than I talk them into. Because my legitimate concern is not to sell you my biggest, baddest, most expensive, every single service I offer. That's not my goal. My goal is to find out, Joshua, what is your experience expectation of your vehicle for the lifetime that you have this car? Are you the neurotic, the most tiniest of speck of a rock chip will diminish your love for this vehicle? Or is it just a car? It gets me from point A to point B. I just want it to be easier to keep clean. Point in case. An R8 just left today. Rock chips all over it. The guy drives it maybe 4 times a year. And whoever had done some work on it before, it was a black car. It looked almost gray. It was so swirled and sanded and all kinds of stuff. When he and I were talking about that car, he was like, what do you think about these rock chips? I said, it doesn't matter what I think. He said, it matters what you think. I said, I could sit here and convince you to get that stuff done. I could, but I'm not. I said, are you going to PPF it afterwards? He's like, probably not. So then don't worry about rock chips. Because if you're not going to PPF it afterwards, rock chips are just going to happen again. Then what are your concerns? Do you care about scratches and rock chips and all that? He's like, nah, man, it's a hunk of metal. I like to drive it. Like, cool. You just want to keep it shiny and clean. Yep. Ceramics. That's all you need. Could I have probably talked him into PPF? Yeah. I'd never want someone to leave here thinking, man, I really didn't want that, but man, he sure did sell me on it. Nope. My goal is I want them to leave saying, wow, he really cares about what I was looking for with this and building a long-term relationship with me. That way they have no problem coming back and they have no problem sending their friends to me knowing that I will take care of them and not sell them something. And that's it. It's very simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, I see on your website that you've got a few different coating products and a few different PPF products that you will offer. So how do you articulate that to your customers and um, allow them to decide which is best, or what's your guidance process like that with that look like?
They will tip. I've every now and then I will have someone ask me like, "Hey, I see you use uh, Naziol or G-Technic," and they'll ask me which one's better. I'll tell them my experience between the two and let them make the decision. Granted, I don't really sell hardly any G-Technic anymore. It's pretty much all Naziol. Um, but the biggest question I come between is whenever people are asking about PPF. I offer Optical and Steck. Um, both great brands. Steck has been around a lot longer. People know Steck more, but Optical is obviously a newer brand, but a phenomenal brand. And in my opinion, the two, whenever people ask me, well, which one should I use? Whenever I do get that question, most people just trust me because, like I said, by the time they've come here, they've seen my videos. Whatever I recommend, they just trust it. They trust that I'm the expert and I'm the professional. If you say it's good, run it. But the people that do ask, I'll tell them that really the reason I have both brands is Optical is my house brand. I install it on 99% of all the vehicles that we do. However, I keep my relationship with Steck because they're more well known. Sometimes people just want a brand that they've heard of. So that's why I keep it. They're like, well, is Optical a cheaper brand? No. If you go buy one right now from either, a standard roll, you're going to pay pennies or the difference between the rolls. And in my experience so far, the quality, same. I mean, let's be honest, as PPF installers, if you're talking about the top probably five brands out there, top best five brands, they're all the same, really. The top coat, the way that they protect against rock chips and things, if installed correctly, they're going to react and protect the same. There's two big differences, or well, one big difference when it comes to the install, why I choose the films that I choose. The adhesive is the biggest difference. How uh, how much tack is it, how sticky is it? That will change how you install it and how you can install it, depending on environmental, you know, parameters, heat, humidity, all of that, and then the stretch. Because the more you stretch a PPF, the thinner it gets. So you could have a top tier PPF, but if someone installs it incorrectly and stretches it too much, now you've made it thinner. So whenever rock chips hit there, it's not gonna perform well. So I sort of explain all these different things to them to educate them on why I choose the brands I do, and the fact that the brand almost to an extent doesn't matter. It depends on the installer, and that's where they come to trust me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about coatings? You said you don't offer any more G-Technic.
Yeah.
Why don't you offer any G-Technic anymore?
Not because I don't like the brand. It's just, you know, gets into some of this high school crap that can happen within the industry. Whenever I started offering Naziol as well, um, from my perspective may be wrong on this, but I was doing the same thing. I would offer both. on their proposal. If someone wanted a 5-year or a 9-year ceramic, I'd offer both brands on the proposal. Um, there was a slight price difference in the two. The Naziol was a little bit more expensive just because their product was more expensive. And the clients inevitably would always ask me, well, hey, this one's they're touting about the same longevity, same reputation, things like that. Why is this one more expensive than this one? I would tell them it's purely the retail cost of the product. And they'd ask me, okay, well, is it worth it? I would tell them my personal experience of testing both products on my personal truck. I'm not married to any brand. I'm married to offering the best possible product that I am aware of at any given time to my clients. I'm always willing to pivot. If a year from now, a legitimate, better product enters the market, I put it through my tests that I deem worthy of it being involved with my brand, and it surpasses what I'm using at that time, I will phase out that other one and bring in the new one. I'm not interested in offering 12 different brands. I want to have one, maybe two options. That's it. And so the reason why G Technic sort of fell off is they noticed me not buying as much G Technic. And they sort of started being dicks about it. And I'm not here to play popularity games. I'm not here to to just be part of a good old boy network. That's why I left corporate America. I'm here to be an expert at something and offer high quality service. That's with your product. Make it worth my time. And be a good person. Don't be a dick because you see me not using as much of your service of your product. That's really why G Technic is still a great brand. I love them. But I'm not going to be
Yeah.
treated like shit because I'm buying less of your product.
I think the appropriate way to handle that for everyone and anyone out there, including ourselves, you have a customer that's like all of a sudden stops coming in and it's like, hey, checking in, like just wanted to see like if you've been haven't bought any new car or did you find someone else?
Yeah.
I would want to know, like genuinely, it's like, why is it that you've been going to this other guy? Like, what is it that you
Yeah.
lost with us?
That never really happened. So, meh, is what it is, you know?
Yeah. Um, on the point of coatings and stuff like that, and I know you mentioned that you were planning on rolling out some mobile units to
Mm-hmm.
do like maintenance on your
Yeah.
coatings. Is that a pretty popular thing? People getting maintenance plans set up?
Oh, yeah. The only reason I don't get a lot of it now is because the only way I can do maintenance details is if you come to me. I send all of my maintenance details to a local mobile detailer that I've vetted and I know does mobile detailing the way that I used to do it and will continue to do it. I trust him to take care of my clients. Now, once I roll back out, I may or may not get some of those clients back, but I'm also using a very specific strategy with whenever I introduce that back to them. I mean, I'll tell you, it's no secret. I mean, I got this idea from Chris. I can always butcher the man's last name, D Giovanni. Just call him Chris D. Um, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, he rolled out this thing of doing gift cards. Um, just one of those stupid things that I'm just like, duh, why the hell didn't I do that before? Um, so every client that comes in, I sort of, in true fashion of me, I never do things on face value. I always tweak it. Uh, his recommendation was every client that comes in, give them 3 gift cards. He can use that you can they can use those gift cards to well, give them one, like say, hey, here's a gift card for future services, and then give them 3 more to hand out. So brings you more people. Why wouldn't you come get a service if it's, you're getting a discount off the jump? So the number price he was telling people was about $50. Well, that might cover taxes or the service fee for sliding a card here here because our average service is a couple thousand. We don't really have any cheap services here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them one $50 gift card for the client that just got the service, specifically engineered to entice them for the mobile detailing. Then they're going to get 3 additional ones to hand out for $250. The caveat to that is if I get all 3 of those cards back, because on the little sleeve that it goes in, I write their client number on it. So if I get all 3 of those cards back on a service that someone has wanted, then that original client is now going to get a $250 credit on their account for a future service. And I'm just going to rinse repeat that with every single client, constantly going. And I project that should bring me additional services, clients, and help build that mobile detailing, because I'm creating a video right now that I'm going to mass email and text all of my previous clients I've gathered over the past 5 years, letting them know, hey, we're bringing mobile detailing back. And if you book, you'll get that $50 gift card towards the first maintenance detail. So we'll see how it goes.
What are you planning on pricing your mobile maintenance at?
That's what I'm looking at right now. It's one of those fun things that you can price a little bit higher than a typical detail, even though you're detailing a clean car, essentially. Usually, it's just really the cockpit area where the driver's at. A lot of times, whenever I've had maintenance details that do come here, you could still see the freaking vacuum lines in all the other seats because it's just their daily driver that they use. So normally, if you could price, say, a sedan like this, just a regular detail, probably pricing it at around 150, maybe. I don't know. I've been out of that market for a while, but I need to sort of research it. But you can price it a little bit higher, I've found, because you sell it as we're maintaining the multi-$1,000 service that you invested in, which is very true. We're maintaining that to make sure it lasts for as long. So a service you probably could have a regular detail for 150 for this sedan, I could probably price it around 200, maybe 225,
Hmm.
and it's a 30-minute detail. We're in, out, gone, but they're super happy because their investment is staying looking good and they already trust us and they know we'll come by every month to do it. So probably starting around 2 to 250 and
Is that a
moving up.
quarterly or?
It depends on the client. A lot of the clients back when I used to do it were monthly, but I let them make that decision based on how they drive the car. Because nowadays, sort of the clientele I've gotten into, while a lot of them are daily drivers for the clients, there's a substantial amount of them that they're just sort of their fun car they drive every now and then. So those people will probably be quarterly, but I project a lot of my clients will be monthly.
Mhm. How many maintenance clients do you have right now at the shop?
None. I shut it down probably about a year and a half ago, simply because I didn't have enough people coming in. I had just enough people to make it a hindrance because I didn't have enough people coming in to where I could gainfully keep someone employed full time and make it worth their time to come in, but just enough to where I would have to take my highly skilled people to go do it. So the services they were working on, PPF ceramics, were suffering because of it. So
Mhm.
I just did away with it, and until I got to the point to where I could start doing mobile again.
Yeah. I wonder how many like mobile maintenance details you really need to have to make it sustainable.
Um, Depending on the price point of the vehicle, from what I recall back when I did it, probably I'd say 3 or 4 a day. Again, it's all dependent on how you're wanting to use it. A lot of people would probably look at me sideways for that. I've gotten quite used to that with the way I run my business. I'm sort of going to use the mobile thing as a loss leader. I'm not really planning on making a ton of money on that as a business. Now, if I can find a way to do it, cool. But I'm going to be sort of using it as somewhat of a loss leader. Even if I just break even, I'm fine with that because one, I'll have vans out showing the name around. So a rolling billboard. Two, it's constantly has me at that client's front of their mind. So when they sell that car, they get a new car. They already know we're going to take care of it because they had an insane experience the first time they came here. We also maintain it for them. So we're going to get them again in the future. And while we're in their neighborhoods, which typically are pretty nice neighborhoods, that guy across the street that just bought his Porsche GT3, GT3, he's going to see us maintaining the one across the street. He's like, "Oh, what are y'all? Who are y'all? Blah 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 blah." Oh, now we've got it. It's just going to be this. And I know it works that way because that's how it worked before. I just didn't. But it was just me doing it because when I first opened this shop, I was doing mobile still. The first 2 weeks I was doing mobile, and the other 2 weeks I was in here doing all of this. And I got people in here because they saw my van out there. So we'll see what the price point looks like and what the breakdown looks like as far as cost and overhead and all of that. But I'm honestly just not terribly worried about making, a massive profit on the mobile detailing. It's just not my
Hmm.
concern. That will bring more people in here.
Hmm. I want to just go back, and I wanted to ask about learning paint protection film
Mhm.
and implementing that right off the gate. Like whenever you went to take that class.
I didn't do it
Um,
right out the gate, but we'll get to that.
okay. Well, I just am curious because I know that having learned window tint ourselves recently,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that PPF is different.
Mhm.
I know it's different, but
Mhm.
it's similar in the sense that like trying to learn and implement anything new, like
Mhm.
there's just so many variables when it comes to vehicles, right? And there's just a lot of different cars that are just different to work with, and so it's hard to learn all that in a training environment, right? And
Mhm.
so how was it implementing and launching paint protection film? Can you talk about your experience?
Nauseating. Um, I think big picture, I probably did it. It was I did the hard way and the easy way all at the same time because I purposefully only went to E-Man. I assume you know who E-Man is.
Hmm.
I only went to E-Man to train because he's E-Man. Um, I've been to everything that I'm sure he still has more. He's forgotten more than I know, obviously at this point, and there's still so much he could still teach me. But I went to his intermediate, his advanced, couple advanced classes. Went while he was doing some mastery type stuff, just watching him and absorbing his what he does. And so consistently going to high quality trainings is what sort of catapulted me so quickly into being so good at it already. Plus, I have an aptitude for it. I'm a firm believer. Not everyone can do PPF. Most people can do window tint. Most people can do paint correction. I wouldn't say most people can do PPF. Most people can do vinyl wrap. PPF is such a different beast. Not to make it sound like this like holy grail of thing, but if you just there's so many variables that can go wrong with what I call stretch theory, which is brings me back to the whole freaking what is it, adhesive promoter. I despise that stuff. Despise it to the core of me. I think if you use adhesive promoter, you're a bad installer. It's a whole nother train to get on. um, the big thing of being able to implement it properly is getting quality training. Don't go to that one training where people screw up. They go to that one training that when they first learn and they're like, okay, I know PPF now. No, go to a quality training, a good quality intermediate training. It needs to be at least 3 days long, two, maybe 3 days long. Uh, take that knowledge, use it for 6 months to a year, depending on how active you are with it. If you're doing a car every single day, now, not just Teslas, Teslas are as easy as they get. You need a wide variety of cars. Do it for 6 months to a year. You're going to get to a peak where you think you're really good until you go to that advanced training. And all those questions you were wondering about how this, how that, they're going to get answered. but I would go to 2 to 3 trainings every single year for the first 3 years that I did this. That's, I think, the way to do it. Where I sort of did it wrong was 2 months after I came back from my initial training. I hired someone to help me do PPF, which is Ish, which is still with me. And I started him at training. So here we are, two completely green people, have never touched PPF before in our lives. While we're getting high quality training, we're both just a bunch of numbskulls coming here burning through film. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily advocate that. Just have one person start because you'll burn through a lot of film, a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, how was it during you first came back from your first training, and then during those first few months? Like, were you guys running into any cars where you just like couldn't do it?
The second car I did was a full body Viper. I was told directly by email not to do that. Oh, I'm a stubborn asshole, so I did that. um, Granted, the real reason I did it was one, I like challenges, and two, that client couldn't find anyone around here to do his car. Even the more like seasoned shops, no one wanted to touch that Viper because Vipers are crazy difficult. So I did it for him. Now, granted, I prefaced the service with him like, "Hey, I just got out of training 3 months ago, so it took me 3 weeks to do, but he was happy." So
Hmm.
yeah, but
Any
something I
other
just
like?
couldn't do. Not that I couldn't do it. It just maybe took me longer, and I burned through more film. But I blew E-Man's phone up all the time, asking him questions. And to be fair, he was always more than willing to help me. But like, all right, well, do this, and you do this, and you do this, because I'd only had basic training at that point, and I wasn't doing basic cars.
But you were able to get all your questions answered and ultimately get the install done just
Mhm.
by making a phone call.
Yeah, making a phone call. Um, Again, this is where I think it comes down to aptitude. Just because you want to do PPF, it's it's a dance, man. It's I'll preface it even more with it depends on what kind of installer you want to be. There's the over the top neurotic like me that I require every single install to look like it doesn't exist. I don't want to see any edges. I don't want to see any if I can find an edge, if you don't have the knife skills to cut it right on the edge of the panel to make it disappear, you're going to do it again until you get the skill, which is why we went through so much film. Um, And then there's if you want to be sort of what I call lick and stick. Now, I have a plotter. I have the freaking $7,000 Graphtec plotter sitting right there. And I utilize it, but I extend all the edges. What I call lick and stick is when you just use it for face value, then just slap it on the top, but you don't wrap the edges. It doesn't really take much skill to do that. There's a reason why that's the way dealerships do it. Um, so it depends on what kind of installer you want to be. You want to be that sort of like crazy, make it invisible type, get ready for the ride because
Hmm.
it's a ride. Be patient.
Do you think customers are aware of that? Like,
Nope.
are they asking about the edges?
They are now. It's becoming more common knowledge because there's more people like me that are putting that out there on the internet. I'm not unique in the fact that I do it this way. There's plenty of high quality shops out there. Um, that do it the same way I do. And a lot of us are starting to realize, but here's the thing is a lot of those shops are shops that have been in the game for 10 plus years. So the owners are older. Granted, I'm 42, so I'm not necessarily young, but for a long time, these shop owners that were doing this, they had already had a foothold in the industry. Not to say they didn't need social media, but they were well established. But they're starting to realize that all of these young cats are coming in. The detailing industry is blowing up right now, and there's all these over the 12 new shops opened up in your city overnight, and they're all just sort of doing the lick and stick for super cheap. So a client just looks at it, someone new to this industry wanting to be a client. It's like, oh, I want to get the front end of my car done. You're charging $2,700. This guy's charged saying he can do it on, a Tuesday special for 700. I'm gonna go with him, you know. But that's where the education comes in. That's where the videos that I produce come into play. Because when that person starts Googling and they find that video, a lot of times I've had someone be like, hey, okay, I got your price, but so and so down the road is half of what you cost. I'm like, how'd you say you found me? Well, that video, I said, can you find any videos of them doing that? They're like, no. I'm like, there you go. Said you're paying for quality. So you're not necessarily, the films will be comparable. What you're paying for is attention to detail with install. And that's what it comes down to. So clients are
Hmm.
asking now, they're getting it. There's still more that don't mind the lick and stick, but that's a whole different type of branding. That's a whole other
Hmm.
issue I have with companies like Expel, that they're not a PPF company. They're a marketing company. If all I wanted to do was get in this industry and make millions, yeah, I'd go try to be an Expel shop. I'm not worried about being a millionaire. I want to do something I'm proud of at the end of the day and form relationships with people. So I may never be multi-millions. I don't require millions to be happy. So,
Are you doing window tinting too?
oh, yes. Hate window
Do
tinting.
you install that?
Yes. I, I loathe window tinting. I thought I was going to love it because I like tedious things. I hate window film. And I sort of do it at that FU price because I don't want people to get it, but people still get it because of the videos that I put out. People will pay that 3 times as expensive because of the videos I put out. They're like, holy shit, you really go above and beyond. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be that much. Point in case, I just window tinted a Miata, charged them $800 to do it. Miata. He was like, wow, you're 3 times as much. He's like, but that video. I'm like, all right, well, that's how much it costs. He's like, okay, book it. I guarantee you he could have gone to Tint World around the corner and got that same car done for 300. He paid my price because of the videos. But
What
yeah,
was the video?
there's one on my YouTube. The thumbnail is like me holding up a blacked out, I like blurred it out, and it says things tint shops don't want you to know. So
Hmm.
sometimes I do some things that are a little clickbaity, but the video is not clickbaity. And it's just me talking about how I hate the gap that window tinters leave at the where the film stops and the film and the window starts. I always leave a 16th of an inch gap and I shave every single window, whether it's frameless or framed, to give that perfect flawless factory like finish. And that video has, I think, over 100,000 views by now, and people still find it, and people still come to me because of that. But
So, is the reason why you don't like window tinting is just because it's harder to like get to that perfect level that you're happy with?
yes, and I am not a delicate man. Window film is very delicate, and I mean, I have, granted, this isn't like a hospital grade clean room, but it's a cleaner room than out there. In here, you could have done everything frickin' perfect. You're doing a windshield. It takes you however long it does to prep it and do it and all this stuff. You're looking at least probably like, at least for me, because I'm so freaking neurotic about it, 45 minutes to an hour to do a freaking windshield. Do it, squeegeeing it, doing all, and then before I know it, I've done that last squeegee. There's a hair right freaking there. And if I can't get it out without crinkling that freaking paper, I got to start all over again. It drives me nuts, and I don't get enough window film to do it as to hire someone to do it full time. And all of the freaking mobile window tinters I've tried to work with here, to say they're unreliable is being generous,
Hmm.
and it's just sort of the way they are for some reason. But so I really only offer it as an add-on service to people that are already going to have their cars here for multiple days. That way I can sort of relax and do it. I really don't like doing like, hey, show up today, drop your car off, and come back and pick it up this evening, because it ends up being my entire day is consumed with doing window tint, because I also need to answer the phone and answer emails and create client experience and all of that stuff, put out fires that are going on in the shop and all this stuff. So I'm actually highly, highly, highly considering getting rid of window tint for the time being until I get more people in here and start trying to build that specifically. And I'll probably just start it just doing only window tint 1 to 2 days a week. And that's it. Once those 1 or 2 days are built out, then no more window tint for that week. And then I'll slowly start grooming someone that's here to do it. But I
Mhm.
hate window film. I hate it.
Well, we kind of took Grant Menard's advice and kind of uh, bring someone in 1 day a week and try to like learn from him. So not
Mhm.
only is it we make a little bit of money, not a lot, but we make a little bit of money from the contractor, and then we're getting our clients familiar with that service, and we're learning how to set expectations about it. Like recently, we had a customer that had a brow installed, and like for you know the past like 3 weeks, everyone was telling us that the brows that they had done previously at other companies were too low. But then this customer thought that the one we put on was too high, and we didn't talk about that. So
There's something about the service that is window film that brings in the most annoying clients if it's just as a standalone service. Now, the clients that I get that do these other services, they just add it on. They're the best kind of window tint client. I love them. Every single time I've had a service in here that they only came to me for window tint, I don't know what it is about that clientele, but they're like, oh, look, there's this one little atom sized thing up in the dot matrix where I can't really see it. And I'll only see it right now because I'm hunting for it because I just paid for this service. I hate it.
and it's
I hate
tricky
it.
because you don't want to like tell them too much beforehand. Like, hey, just so you know, it's not going to look perfect,
Oh,
so
I do
don't look
now.
for.
Oh, no,
Do you?
I do. No, I tell them when we talk about it because I've sort of cursed myself with the whole FU price because now they're paying 3 times as much. So now they really want it to be perfect. But it's really not worth my time to do it if I'm only charging the standard price around here.
Mm-hmm.
But now, but I still tell them, like, look, I know you're paying this much, and what you're paying for is technique and quality film and all of this. And the fact that if something does go wrong, I'll still be here in a year. But I always let them know, like, look, there's no such thing as a perfect window film install. If you get a perfect piece of glass, truly perfect, it happens, but it's not the run of the mill. If I'm tinting this entire freaking, you know, large SUV, at least one of those windows is going to have a speck somewhere. Now, there's a tolerance. If it's right in your line of sight, yeah, that's not tolerable. But if it's up in the dot matrix and you have to hunt for it to find it, bro, deal with it. Just
Yeah.
deal with it. And I do my best to
Yeah.
crush it out, with a little chisel. But sometimes, come on, man.
We're always trying to walk that line between like, yeah. First off, when do we really need to redo the
That's a
tent?
fine line.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
And when do we need to just like point this out versus don't say anything about it and
I'm always
beat them
scared
to
not to
it?
point it out because then I'm worried they're going to find out later and be like, why didn't you show me this? So I always end
Yeah.
up showing, even with my PPF, everything. I'll always show my client the thing that they'll never see. They're like, oh, I'd have never seen that if you wouldn't have pointed it out. I'm like, God damn it.
I think you can just ask them next time, like just say, hey, do you see anything in this area?
That's what I do now. That's what I do now. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, how do you like this? Like, how do you like this area right here? They're like, oh, it looks
Yeah.
amazing. I'm like, sweet.
And then you can point it out too. Just so you know, I want to, because I'm overcritical.
Yep. Yep.
I want to show you this one little speck.
And
And they're
whenever I
like, oh,
preface it
yeah.
like that, they're always like, dude, don't worry about it. If it's like that, it probably needs to be like that. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah. Well, Raleigh, thank you for taking the time to share so much with me. I'm probably going to call it there,
Cool.
but I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to hear more about how your advertising
Mhm.
goes with this new company. And I'd love to check in with you later in the year and just kind of see how things are going with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
So
Go ahead.
Cool.
Like I said, appreciate, like, honored the fact you'd even think of to have me on your show. Uh, Loved it. I've been really enjoying watching and listening to your show as I've gone along. And doing great stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. And yeah, keep crushing it the rest of the year. We're about halfway through now,
Yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I'll keep up with your videos, and I look forward to the check-in.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And thank you everyone for listening.